From the Firehouse 51 crew paying tribute to the kid who lost his life to Otis's heartbreaking death, here are Chicago Fire's most controversial moments. Let's start with that tragic moment in Season 1, Episode 19, titled A Coffin That Small. I'm talking about the little dude who found himself in a laundry chute while goofing around with his brother. In a sad turn of events, he didn't make it out alive. But hold on, it gets even more tear-jerking. The boy's mom then pays a visit to the firehouse and hands them a photo, explaining that it's what her son would have wanted them to have. And what's in the picture? It's the boy all dressed up as a firefighter, living out his dream of becoming one when he grew up. I know, it's both beautiful and heartbreaking all at once, but here's where the waterworks really kicked in. Toward the end of the episode, the entire firehouse crew lines up along the sidewalk, paying tribute to the little boy. And Chicago Fire has no shortage of moments like these, which was made very clear by episodes like Leader's Lead in Season 1. The thing is, before we had the epic romance of Gabby and Casey, there was a special someone named Hallie in Casey's life. She may have only been around for one season, but her loss hit hard, no doubt about it. Imagine it, Casey absolutely devastated, pouring his heart out as he pleads with Hallie to hold on, begging her to breathe. And when the doctor delivers the crushing news, man, it's like a punch right in the feels. Casey breaks down, hoping to find comfort in the arms of the doc. It's a scene that'll leave you reaching for those tissues, and it doesn't stop there. Our buddy Mills, played by the awesome Charlie Barnett, walks up to the heartbroken crew, and Casey just clings to him for dear life. The rest of the team is standing there with their hearts shattered. After watching this, any tiny shred of emotional stability you have will be gone faster than you think. Remember that mind-blowing Season 2 finale? Yeah, all of us were left hanging with no clue about what happened inside that building. Chief Bowden was outside, freaking out because he couldn't reach anyone on the radio. No one had any idea if their beloved characters were injured, or worse. Turns out, Shay took the full force of that explosion. Severide then jumped right into action, performing some life-saving CPR. And then we had our heroes Casey, Mouch, Herman, and Cruz busting their butts to rescue Shay. They pushed everyone out of the way to get her out of harm's way. And let me tell you, that moment's enough to make you break down in tears. It was a tough pill to swallow, but fans had to say goodbye to their beloved Leslie Shay. Rest in peace, Shay. You'll forever hold a special place in our hearts. And you know what else fans hold close to their hearts? That moment in Season 4, Episode 4, Your Day Is Coming. The whole episode was an emotional roller coaster from start to finish. We had Gabby facing a life-threatening situation during childbirth on the verge of losing her life. They rushed her into surgery to save her, and guess who was there to support her? None other than Will Halstead from Chicago Med, our medical drama hero from the One Chicago universe. Talk about a crossover moment. But the heartache didn't stop there. This episode tackled the painful reality of losing a child with such rawness. The emotions were so real, and it felt like a punch to the gut. Seeing Gabby in denial about the loss of her unborn baby was just heartbreaking. Casey and Gabby went through so much, and you couldn't help but feel their pain. Chicago Fire sure knows how to deal with some serious themes, but some fans think they dropped the ball with this next one. You see, some interesting stuff happens in the Season 4 episode Short and Fat. Kelly goes to see Maddox's lawyer, who happens to be his ex-fling, hoping to convince her that Dawson and Bowden are facing false accusations of assault. But the thing is, she can't spill the beans about her client to Kelly. Meanwhile, Dawson pays a visit to Bowden to chat about what's been happening and reveals that intelligence, thanks to Antonio, has decided to help out Firehouse 51 by investigating the case. Intelligence manages to track down the woman who accused Bowden, and they bring her in for questioning with Bowden right there in the room. Turns out, that was a pretty clever move because she admits that Maddox paid her to frame Bowden, and even planned to whisk her away out of the country. To top it all off, they also managed to talk to the guys who were harassing Dawson, and they confirmed that Maddox bribed them. Busted. But not all fans were thrilled with the show's choice to focus on false sexual assault allegations. They pointed out that there are more stories about innocent guys being wrongly accused than about the real sexual harassment issues faced by female firefighters. Fans weren't loving the women lie about assault narrative, saying that it undermined the real victims. But hold on, the show redeemed in Season 4, Episode 10 titled The Beating Heart. Now we all know Christopher Herman, the heart and soul of the Chicago Fire family. He's been like a counselor, a father figure, and the guy you can lean on when times get tough. So when Freddie stabbed him right in the middle of season 4, it was absolutely terrifying to think of losing him. They rushed Herman to med, but things didn't go smoothly. He faced a whole bunch of complications, from going into hypovolemic shock to needing emergency surgery to stop the bleeding. It was an extremely close call, and his Firehouse family almost lost him that day. And if you think that was too upsetting to bear, take a look at what went down in Season 5, Episode 22, My Miracle. It had so many emotional moments that it's hard to pinpoint which one hit the hardest. But let's talk about the intense cliffhanger that left fans on the edge of their seats. It was when most of the team was trapped inside a blazing warehouse with no way out. And if that wasn't enough, Mouch suffered a heart attack, adding another layer of distress. To top it all off, Casey broke everyone's hearts by saying goodbye to Gabby over the radio. And the whole thing was a truly gut-wrenching scene that had us wiping our tears. But the worst part? The episode ended right there, leaving us with the show's cruelest cliffhanger. The suspense was absolutely brutal, and it felt like an eternity until fans finally got some answers as to who even survived the tragedy. It was definitely not an easy watch, but it sure showed us the gripping storytelling that Chicago Fire is known for, keeping us hooked in the lives of these firefighters. Season 7, Episode 6 was more proof of this, as it delivered a heartbreaking blow to both Kelly Severide as well as the fans. Benny Severide wasn't a regular character, but he made a lasting impact during his time on the show, so news about his stroke came as a complete shock to everyone. Unfortunately, Benny passed away before Kelly could reach Med to see him, and in a conversation with Bowden, Kelly revealed that his last words to Benny were an acknowledgement that Bowden was a better father figure than he was. It was a moment filled with regret. Bowden shared that Benny played a huge role in getting the commissioner to back off the firehouse, and this revelation left Kelly shattered. Seeing the strong Kelly break down under the weight of grief was absolutely unbearable. This episode showed the deep connections between the characters, but that's what Chicago Fire does best. It plays with the fans' emotions every darn season. Season 8, Episode 1 of Chicago Fire, titled Sacred Grounds, is one that also hit viewers right in the feels. And why wouldn't it? It had one of the most devastating deaths in the One Chicago franchise. After the intense events of the Season 7 finale, Cruz discovers Otis severely injured in the middle of the wreckage. Otis wakes up at Med and says something in Russian to Joe, before tragically passing away. This moment left fans absolutely broken. The EP ended with Bowden unveiling a memorial dedicated to Otis and translating his final words to Cruz, which said, "Brother, I will be with you, always." When Cruz breaks down in front of Otis's memorial, the entire team joins him in a moment of sorrow, and viewers couldn't help but shed tears with them. So, from Otis's heartbreaking death to the Firehouse 51 crew paying tribute to the kid who lost his life, these were Chicago Fire's most controversial moments.